What was, guys? Do you remember? Shit. Do you remember the name?
The other map is
The
controlled
name of
chaos.
what?
Control
What was,
controlled chaos is the other map.
yeah, I know. Uh, is that what the one we're playing?
I think the longer the game, I feel like definitely, I don't know, we tend to like shift from what we intended to do and stuff. Like we just start kind of, because we're trying to figure out other ways, I guess. We get sloppy, is what I mean.
I mean, it comes really. I think it comes back to that point that I was hypering on of communication. And Logan, last week you made a point of you, you made a point with StarCraft where the dudes say clicking around randomly to keep
Hey,
up the
guys,
APMs, right?
a question for you.
What's
Are
up?
we playing this one or are we playing the other one? Which
I
one do
honestly
you
don't
guys feel
care.
like? You don't care?
I don't care.
Oh,
What's the
okay.
other one? Not the one. Is it the one we played
It's the
earlier?
open
Or?
one. It's the
No, no, no,
open
no.
one.
The open one. The open
Oh,
one.
okay. Oh, yeah. Let's play the open one. Sure.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Cool.
All right. Sorry, Simon.
So you remember how you were talking about the player will play with the APM high, clicking random stuff, so that late game when he has to click between the bases and all that stuff, his APM's already there.
Yeah.
You guys need to work on that with your communication. The
Okay.
communication was not there. Was
Mhm.
not there. That's why I was trying to harp on it early game last time. You see, if you guys were communicating, then it would have been easy to say, okay, can you move those halbs? I need to move up my siege. Oh, these units are in the way. Or, okay,
Yeah, I thought
what
too.
units are everybody building? Because I didn't know why Sharky was building skirmishers. Granted, they
I
helped
did
out a
call
little
it
bit,
because I
but
think what was it? I think well, Dobo had way too many pikes. Like he needs to. I feel like skirmishers for Goths is not a bad thing. I mean, it's like you should have at least like 2 archer ranges, maybe in the whole course of the game. But he had none. He just went straight halbs, and I think that also definitely discounted for the scouting because like you can't just rely on one person to scout. I mean, especially since Dobo was just dancing with his pikemen. I saw every time some were created, he would just regroup them, ball them up again. And I'm like, that's all this micro that you're wasting. You could be doing other things.
yeah.
So,
So
but
yeah,
that's the scouting thing too. I think that doesn't help. That like it's you're doing something that has no benefit to the team, and then also like you instead of grouping them up, why don't you like you could have been microing like the APM, like I'm talking about a scout or something. So yeah.
not necessarily. I get what you're saying, Logan. But what I'm trying to say is that communication will lead to the extra scouting. Will lead to the
Yeah, no, I agree on that.
coordinating
Yeah, I'm
against
just saying.
that.
So last
So
game, it's like, so yes, I scouted a little, then I went back to eco. But what was the other like team doing too? It's not just directed to. It's all of us, right? But that extra micro that Dobo's doing, it's a step a step back, take a step back. There we go from the pikemen and realize like, why do I have this ball of pikemen? Like it's what was the whole reason? And I think maybe eventually once you called them out, I think I started like, hey, let's get our town centers up by the front, or no, what did I say? Build some barracks up there or something. Yeah,
yeah,
and then because he kept building them all the way in the back. I mean, it's like you just need one barracks back there, and then build the rest up front. We know if we don't know the map, then I get it. We're a little like conservative, but we know that map. Like just build the action's going to be there, and I guess like to what you're saying, Simon, is I need to communicate that and say, hey, like the action's going to be here, guys. Let's start focusing here. And I think I did say I don't. It wasn't maybe in the first game. I did say that I want Sharky wasn't there in the middle, like it was mostly just Dobo and I. So I was saying like we need Sharky, we need some gray over here.
Sharky came my
So
side.
like yeah, no, I meant in the middle. Like you're on the right, like in that map. Saman, you like had right. Yeah, it doesn't matter if Sharky went right to build a base. So I meant for his military buildings, he needed to focus on the left side, and I think
he came right with the military buildings and the base. Like he came full right. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
But you guys
Oops.
didn't see that because there was no communication.
I mean, it's kind of yeah, no, but I can't. I mean, what? I'm supposed to just watch what people do like 24/7. I mean,
No. So you
it's
would
like we
say
know this map. Like, there's a
no. But you would say like, okay, guys, like, okay, now I'm moving up here, right? You're just
right.
saying
Sure,
what you're
sure.
doing, and then by that cue, Dobo will say, "Where do you want me to build?" I guarantee you, Dobo will ask you, "Where do you want me to build?"
Mm-hmm.
And then
Sure.
Sharky
Yeah.
will say, "Hey, I'm gonna build over here." And then you can
Mm-hmm.
kind of say, "Hey, you're not supposed to be on the right. Come a little bit more mid to the
Left.
left
Yeah.
side."
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? That
Mm-hmm.
communication led to you guys kind of doing your own thing, and then when shit hit the fan, you guys got overrun. I came in, stabilized the situation for you guys. That's when the communication started to pick up. I'm just saying that you guys need to work on the communication. As of last week,
Picks
Dobo and
of shit.
Sharky, one of your biggest problems right now is how to play frontline, protecting the siege and not getting your frontline units killed. Just letting you guys know that as well.
One complaint I hear is the other way around. Like my units are in the way of siege. I think Munsif and both, and I
So
think
this last game, you guys had an overabundance of frontline, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing, right? But what ended up happening because you had this overabundance of frontline was uh, Logan couldn't move, and you guys weren't scouting, so you didn't know that you could move your frontline forward and let his siege do his work. You see what I'm saying? So that was an issue. Okay, I guess we're picking civs, so go ahead and pick your roles, guys.
Who's going first? Sharky, you may go first, or
I think I'll go infantry this time around. So I'm going Japanese.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
all right, I'll do. I guess cavalry. I'll do Teutons. We wait on them to pick, or should I? What's
Wait
going
on
on?
them for the pick.
Attack the enemy with battle elephants. Attack the enemy with champions.
Logan, what are you gonna do?
I'm thinking about it.
Delete the object on the flared location. Attack the enemy with champions.
Okay, so Teutons. If Dobo goes Teutons,
What's if what's the loss?
oh, Spanish maybe.
Well, what are you playing Spanish for?
The like conquistadors.
Yeah, I don't particularly see good reason for conquest as of this moment with just the Slavs.
The gold bonus too.
Gold didn't seem like too much of an issue, but granted, we'll have a shorter route on this map.
I mean, I'm also thinking Italians.
Let's see what their next pick is. Castle in Spanish.
Maybe the Mayans.
I mean, I guess you could do Mayans, but you're gonna be having double do onagers if you need them then. Most likely. I'd rather not overburden him like that.
What about the humans?
Humans could work. Let me take a look. Yeah, they could work.
Plus, I have paladins too. Step lancers, siege rams, siege onagers, champions, heavy cavalry archers, kipchaks.
I love humans personally.
I just didn't want to play Mongols. I mean, I do, but I feel like I just played them last week.
No, I get you. Want to change it up?
Yeah, there. And I didn't know. Yeah, so it was definitely a range with a siege onager, and it was either Mongols or humans.
Could also gone Koreans.
Well, yeah, I just the problem with that is it would be even more crowded. But I think they're slower, aren't they? Though.
The Koreans?
Yeah, like I mean like I'm not saying they're the slowest. I'm just saying like I feel like this map it kind of mobile. I don't know, just seems better, but I don't know. Like I feel like you want a fast civ on this.
Yeah, on this one, yeah. Mobility does matter.
Because I'm glad I didn't pick Italians because I was gonna be slowed down.
So the thing with the slow sliv is it's more about, okay, you make your ball and force them to engage you or die. Whereas with the mobile one, it's like, okay, you can respond to all the threats and then harass them.
Right. Yeah.
Death ball is a lot more important with like slow slivs, like the toots. The reason I'm calling out the toots is because they don't get the mobility upgrades, so their units are, well, their cavalry is slower.
Mm-hmm.
But they excel in a melee fight. By the way, for early communication, you guys are talking about, oh, I'm just building eco. It could be as simple as, okay, I got my first scout up. I'm building my second TC here. Just little call outs to say, hey, I'm on track. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's good.
Cool.
We'll do that this game. Right, guys?
You're right.
Indians, so they're gonna have the camels.
Bulgarians.
They're pretty mobile between them all. Camels, pallies, conics, boyars.
Hey guys, I think this could be the last one for me tonight. I'm getting pretty tired.
That's the last one for everyone.
Okay, cool.
Use their mobility to evade melee attackers. Thanks.
Build wherever.
So I'm gonna go mid,
Alright, I'm going back.
and then obviously Smal's going left or right. I mean,
Yeah, fine, fine.
Ordini, muratori, pronto, immediatamente, muratori, 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 sì sì, muratori, ordini,
Yeah, so I'm gonna be probably building more towards this way, and then Dobo, remember this area is all yours. So Sharky, if you want to start, like, go here, or not start, but think about going there. We do have boars. Yeah, they're there revealed.
Muratore. Muratore. Pronto sono. Muratore. Sesse. Muratore.
I had my villager go all the way around. Derp. Alright, can't make scouts because of pop. Now I'm making them. I got my first one out. God, I forgot how
Trying to work
fast
on
they are on the
eco.
humans.
Trying to work on eco because it's been so bad the past 2 games.
Just remember, like, every halberdier you're making, like, how many villagers have you made during that? If that makes any sense. Like, the
Scout's
fact
right.
that you've made so many.
Salutiamo.
Did you think of your
Muratore.
villagers? Or you just gave all the halberdier love?
I actually had more farms than one. They were just on the side. I just didn't care to comment.
Muratore.
I had a mill with like 6 around it during that time.
Ordini. Taglialini.
Yeah, but you know, you got the point.
Muratore.
Yeah, I did. Needed more. Understood.
Muratore.
I got a villager right there. Probably could get sniped. But this isn't Saman.
I'm on your team, but
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's not Saman on that side.
One's upsetting my villagers. Shit.
Pronto. Va bene.
that's fast.
Muratore. Ordini. Muratore. Sesse.
Ordini. Muratori. Sessi. Muratori.
Oh,
He's hitting my
Fituria.
Fituria.
Yep, I'm going for him.
Yeah.
Got this guy. Joe back here.
Taglialegna. Immediatamente. Muratore. 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 Muratore.
A vostro servizio, signore. Sì, signore. Comandi. Attaccare!
Pronta.
Whoops. Alright, trying to make my second town center.
Alright, building up my pikemen.
Combattere!
Pronto. Se.
Oh, come on, seriously? That boar got picked up?
Muratore.
Comandi. A vostro servizio. Ho fatto. Attaccare! A vostro servizio. Comandi. Sì, signori. Attaccamo! Sì, ho fatto. Capevo. Sì, signori. Combattere! A vostro servizio. Attaccamo! Capevo. Sì, signori.
How are we doing Marcus this one?
Temporarily, I have one up right here.
Built a town center there.
Comandi. Ho fatto.
Ordini.
Yeah, I'll build mine there.
Muratore. 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 Sesse. Giusto. Va bene. Muratore. Muratore.
Sì. A vostro servizio, ho capito.
Pronto, sogno. Muratori.
TC going up on this side.
Yep.
Ho fatto.
Nice.
Scout on the other end.
I got PC over here. Going up. Going for the gold and the stone in the middle. Market's going up right here.
Sì. Attaccare.
Salutare.
There we go. Lots of skirmishers right there.
Muratori.
A vostro servizio. Combattiamo. A vostro servizio. Comandi.
Ordini. Muratori.
Good, come in.
Sì.
Alright.
Comandi.
Not coming in. Alright.
Attaccare.
Sì, sì. Muratori.
A vostro servizio.
Salutiamo. Muratori. Muratori. Sessi. Muratori. Muratori. Pronta. Muratori. Ordini. Muratori.
Comandi, signore. Sì. Combattiamo.
Ordini. Muratori. 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 Muratori.
Lots of forces on the left. Dobo, you gotta start putting military up here, man.
Further up, alright.
A vostro servizio. Capito. Ho fatto. Sì, signore. Ho capito. Attaccato. Sì.
Pronto, sogno. Muratori. Muratori.
Comandi. Combattiamo. A vostro servizio. Attaccare. Sì, signore. A vostro servizio.
Salutiamo. Immediatamente.
Comandi. A vostro servizio. Combattiamo. Comandi.
We have two over here. I think two armies there.
Sì. Comandi. Ho fatto. A vostro servizio. Sì.
Pronto, sogno.
Comandi. Sì, ho capito. A vostro servizio.
Salutiamo. Giusto. Muratori. Muratori.
Comandi. Combattiamo.
Ordini. Sì, sì. Pronto, sogno. Muratori. Muratori.
Sì, a vostro servizio. Comandi.
The new market's cool, cool. I saw them going up. Oh, they're setting trade right in the middle. Oh, I'm gonna take some of Shoaib's villages right here.
Sì,
Nice.
ho capito. Attaccare.
Ordini. Salutiamo. Immediatamente. Muratori. Muratori. Muratori.
Gonna
Muratori.
feast on these guys right now.
Muratori. Muratori.
Oh,
Muratori.
get out of there.
Muratori.
Sì, comandante, signore. Attaccato! A vostro servizio, comandi. Attaccare! Attacchiamo! A vostro servizio. Sì. Comandante. Lo capivo.
Pronta.
Sì, sì.
Salutiamo.
What are all those villagers doing?
Bracciamo.
Traveling, I guess.
Green and red
Muratori.
over here. A
Yeah.
full army there. And then, let's see. They have there's a gap there, but they're probably going to fill it.
A vostro servizio.
Ordini.
Sì, sì. Minatori. Pronta, chialegna.
Pronta, stagli a legna. Ordini.
Sì, sì.
Sessi.
Pronto, sogno.
Fuck.
Muratori. 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 Muratori.
Sì.
Yeah, Doba, you need stuff up here, man. Come on. Let's not have 2 weeks in a row where you like blanked out and forgot to put stuff up here. Sharky's up here, right here.
I'll probably get up ahead too.
Capivo, comandi.
Salutiamo. Minatori. Sessi. Minatori.
Get trade going.
I've got my trade queue.
Ordini. Muratori.
Pronta sono.
Sharky, move this market to back here and get one trade going.
Muratori. Muratori.
Salutiamo. Muratori. Muratori. Muratori.
Salutiamo. Braccianti.
Ordini. Taglialegna. Muratori.
Building a wall. Blue, red, and green.
You got your paladins. Get them paladins off. Get the paladins off the. They're gonna get just absolutely destroyed.
Right, so they're gonna wall off this area. I'm gonna send my.
We're gonna need some help, Sharky, on the left. They already got bombard towers up.
Sì, signore.
I don't fucking want to forward build because they had a fucking massive army there, but whatever.
You just took too long. That was the problem. They saw it and they took it.
Building castle.
Pronta sono.
Salutiamo.
I got one.
Muratori.
Lo capivo. A vostro
Or
attaccare.
more halberds. A castle on the way.
Nice. I'm getting some siege rams.
Sì, 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 capivo.
Alright, my second trade is up.
Bring back the paladins. Dobo, bring them back.
Combattete. Attaccare. Sì. Attaccato. Lo capivo. Sì. Attaccare. Sì, sì, capivo. Sì, signore.
Pronto sono. Taglialegna.
Alright, I got 3 rams.
Ordini. Cessi. Taglialegna. Salutiamo. Muratori.
Sì.
Cessi. Ordini.
Right, that castle's
Salutiamo. Muratori.
building trebs and the free Kipchaks.
Alright, they're attacking my stable. It's up right there.
Green's attacking.
We gotta just hit. Ignore middle. Ignore middle. I'm sending the rams. Let's go, guys. On left side. Dobo, you got halberdiers on you, man. Get them out.
There's nothing left to get out.
Pronto.
Japanese trebs out.
Sì. Taglialegna.
Go for it.
Ordini. Taglialegna.
A vostro servizio, signori. Ho fatto. Combatte! Attaccare! Sì! Attaccare! A vostro servizio. Attaccare! Sì! A vostro servizio. Sì!
Hey, I'm gonna get those skirmishers with my cav.
A vostro servizio. Combatte! Sì! Attaccare! A vostro servizio.
Sending cav left now.
Kipchaks left.
Is a castle being built? Way left?
Yep. You got all the villagers.
Oh shit. Whatever. That's not gonna work.
Pronta su. Muratori.
Salutiamo. Muratori.
Sì! Sì, signore. A vostro servizio.
Sending the trebs up to the towers and the castles.
Got that onager. Nice.
Ordini. Muratori. Muratori.
Pronto sono. Muratori.
Moving up the trebs.
I'm gonna go pick a fight with those halberdiers. Let's see if I can pull them. Oh, but they got onager. Shit. Where's the cavalry?
Salutiamo. Sessi. Muratori.
Onager. I'm moving up onager. Oh, he's moving them. Yeah, move the sergeants up. Yeah. Oh,
move,
yeah.
move the cav archers up. Need space for my tribes. Thank you. Castle.
Sorry, our rounds coming in.
Oh, they're fighting at the gate.
Alright, let's see what John's got him down.
Ordini.
I want to push Vassal back out of that corner.
Sessi. Salutiamo. Minatori.
It's Vassal yellow.
That's a lot of buildings over there. Let's scout mid. Let's see what they have mid. Oh, who took out the outpost? Thank you.
We got green coming in heavy green. Heavy green.
Oh. Debo, we need more paladins, man.
I'm not liking the gold rush right now.
You made a lot of Teutonic Knights. You had some gold, it looks like. Yeah, take out the paladins with the halbs. Yeah.
Okay, got more tribes on the way.
Alright, I got fucking 40 fucking thousand.
Salutiamo. Muratori. Muratori. Taglia legna.
Honestly surprised that the land actually made it to the gate.
Idle villagers middle, Sharky. We need more cav on those onagers. Sharky, send in your halberdiers.
Yeah. Or kind of the elephants, is it
We
skirmishers or what?
Help.
Yeah, but you also gotta build up in the back, man. You keep sending in like 5 units at a time. Just
Well, what
build
the
up
fuck
like
is it?
20.
Okay. Is it build
Like-
up in the back or build up in the front?
The problem is you're building up and your guys are just attacking. You see, like you're losing like a couple paladins at a time.
Queue up right next to these archery ranges. Right next to the archery, between the archery ranges and Sharky's new castle this one.
Eyes might work against the Connex. You want to try that?
A vostro servizio. Sì. A vostro servizio. Sì, signore. Ho capito. Ho fatto. Comandi. Sì. Sì, signore. A vostro servizio. Ho fatto. Ho capito. Sì. Comandi. Sì. Combattere. Sì, signore. Ho fatto. Ho capito. Sì, signore. Attaccare. Attacchiamo. Attaccare. Combattere. Attacchiamo. Ho capito. Combattere. A vostro servizio. Attacchiamo. Ho fatto. Attaccare. A vostro servizio. Sì. Attaccare. Combattere. A vostro servizio. Attaccare. Combattere. Attaccare. Sì. Combattere. Combattere. Attaccare. Attaccare. Sì, signore. Attaccare. 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 A vostro servizio. Combattere. Ho capito.
Yeah, it's not looking good, guys. We gotta like rally here or something.
Sì.
Just repeat of last week. We let the left side because no one fucking takes that spot. Like even though it's like right sitting there, a platter.
A vostro servizio. Sì. A vostro servizio. Attaccare.
We're running low on wood.
Comandi. Sì. Combattere.
There you go.
Thank you. Let me build. 'Cause right now I'm just sending halberds to their deaths.
You gotta just stay in front of this castle or something. we're just yeah. The teams are just not balanced. We got yeah. Yeah, of course we can. We're just somehow just having off days or something. I don't know. You know, it's a fucking video game.
You need onagers or the Ellies.
I got a couple. And just look at the scores. I mean, just clearly see.
Lots of scores because he's killing buildings.
Well, that means he's doing something productive, right? Unlike our team. I mean, it's kind of.
Oh, I'm saying his army is geared just solely to take out buildings. You're struggling with fastest towers. You can't push the towers, and then Shoaib is just sitting under the towers. That's what's going on. It's the same old stuff as you do with the towers.
Building the towers with my trebs. But
I'm making some siege rams. But we just, where's our, like, paladins? Why don't we have, like, 60 paladins ready to go?
Because I suck at this fucking game, Logan. Is that the answer you want?
No, I'm asking, do you need resources? Do you need more stables, or... Oh, Sharky, back up your halberdiers. There you go.
Why don't we go in right here?
well, lost that next castle. Need to build another one.
You can't go in through there. Oh, I guess you kinda
Why
can.
can't we? We can walk right through. Run through blue into everybody else. They have no gate there.
Because the second you all go there, you'll have an instant collapse here. That's why. Sharky, you're just losing your traps.
Trade that risk.
Okay, Logan, I'm gonna go push forward. You do, bring them to the museum. You have any ramps? Send them the ramps too.
We have Cav coming in. I think there might be a gap there that they're coming through. Yep.
Yeah.
There's a gap.
Yep. Yep.
Pronto, sogno.
Capi. A vostro servizio. Attaccate! Sì, sì. A vostro servizio. A vostro servizio. A vostro servizio. Capi.
Alright, I'm ready to call it. I'm just not having fun. I'm going to go to bed.
Rest of the team, you guys cool with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care.
A vostro servizio. Attaccare!
Dude, got nothing.
GG.
GG. Someone.
Alright, guys. Well, I'm going to bed. You guys have a good night. Fun week. I'll see you guys on next Saturday.
Alright,
We're going.
Saman, what happened?
Just
Just bad eco?
Dobo was struggling with eco, and he didn't expand left. Just FYI, Logan, next time, think about it this way. If you have one person stay back, one person should be going left immediately, one person should be going mid, one person should be going right. What you're doing right now is 2 mid, 1 right, 1 back.
Oh, so the hole there'll naturally be a hole there.
Hmm.
But didn't you guys figure that out from the Logan from the last time?
I pointed it out. I mean, I don't care. Your first town center doesn't have to be up front or left. I mean, it's like the second town center. Instead, he basically made it like right in the front,
Well, no,
or sorry, way in the back. Like,
yeah, no, that's fine. That's whatever, right? The thing is, Sharky could have gone left after that, right? But he didn't.
yeah, sure, true. But I gave John a chance, Dobo a chance, and clearly didn't take it. And then when he finally did, he was like, "Oh, this is why, because they have an army." It's like, well, dude, you wasted like half the game. So yeah, I mean, you guys did it. Like, left was key, and you just pushed through it. Boom. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just trash play, but whatever.
No, I don't know. I mean, just forget about the trash play. I just I would just kind of pay attention to Salman, what he's saying about the.
Saman, you heard we had way better comms. Yes, it wasn't perfect, but they were way better than the last game. I mean, we were communicating where we were building, all that stuff. I pointed out you want to build here. I mean, it's what do I have to do? Do I literally have to like kill all the boars for him to be like, now you can go, or can he just do it himself? I mean,
So what you should have done is you yourself should have taken left and had Sharky and Dobo meet up in mid. Because Sharky expands mid naturally by me, right? You're expanding mid naturally. Dobo has been the one struggling in this map particularly. So if you're at secured left and Dobo had just built up right alongside you as a support player, and as in the back support player, you let him work his eco, you're straight.
yeah, like I said, I was kind of trying to like see if he'd get out of his shell from last weekend, like give him that other chance. But yeah, no, that's a good strategy. I should have went left, sure.
That's fine. But I'm just saying, you've been the strategy typically on this map is one left, one mid, one right, and then one in the back, right? That's how it's kind of designed. That's how the Fatorias are made about. That's kind of like your positions, right? So that's what I'm saying is if you have you let Dobo either be mid or back. Right now he's struggling to expand, so let him be back and figure out how to expand, or show him how to expand. And he'll be good. So that was an issue. The attack was solid, minus the fact that you guys kind of ignored green. You guys would have gotten wrecked on the side. So that was an issue. Besides that, after they took left and got pushed back, you guys didn't call out the key units and slowly fell apart.
Well, it always goes down to like we're missing that ingredient. I mean, we've talked about this is before Adobo too. This is basically we're never able to get to our full potential, so we have to compensate. I started making a bunch of paladins and then you were like, "Where are the onagers?" I'm like, "Oh," and so then I overcompensate because just trying to do too many things.
Sharky also only had 17k food collected, so he was struggling a lot more than even Dobo this game on eco.
True.
I mean, that's like half of the food of even Dobo, for example, and the rest of the team, the rest of the players.
What were they gonna go, by the way?
Sharky was infantry and trebs, I think, right? As Japs.
Yep.
He was infantry, yeah.
And then what were you going, Sharky?
Infantry.
No, he was Japs. He was with infantry and
Yeah,
trebs.
for tribes.
Okay.
I think there was some slight. I think Double wanted to go Teutonic Knights for some reason, even though we called him to do Paladins. And then he said, "I'm low on gold," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, because you just blew it on the Knights." I think that kind of didn't help. So then he went slow Knights, and then yeah. So
yeah,
I
I think like so if you remember from last game, Logan, literally you're in the same position, right? Like where you're at in the map, like you're in that same position. And the gripe about that whole left thing, just FYI, like Salman was saying, probably inexperienced players needed to get because there's a lot of space to cover. You know what I mean? Like a lot. Like that's pretty expansive. Like a lot on that side of the map. And mid where Dobo or maybe Sharky could be, it's like generally it's probably easier for them. because they're just like right there. You know what I mean? They're just kind of like naturally move forward. So to me that would have been useful. Um, of course the economy thing was kind of interesting. I liked how you pushed, by the way. That push was good because when you guys got together for that push, I don't know if you guys felt that, but there wasn't as much resistance from our side, and part of it was that Shuaib was not in a good position, like he wasn't set up correctly. So, I mean, literally, you guys were doing great, actually. Pretty phenomenal, actually, how you guys were making a push. Fasa was calling out for a lot of help. I know Munsif would have asked for help, but he couldn't really talk much. But they needed that third player. And then I literally had to you know, knock Shuaib a little on his head to actually tell him to hey, are you gonna do something and help? And I think who was trebbing his town center, by the way.
I think that was Sharky. I think, right?
Sharky did a great job because that basically kind of, I mean, basically Shuaib was kind of like, now what? And I think not having enough buildings, proper buildings to build was kind of like an issue. So because he didn't have much of the military buildings, because let me tell you something, in Shuaib's mind he was always going to go Ellie's, but he didn't have castles. And because he didn't have that, he actually was going to go Imperial camels, but he hadn't built enough stables. So basically this area where Shoaib was actually, interestingly enough, a town center with like a barrack or two bullshit building with nothing else really. Because in his mind, the army that he was making was not like, he could not make it based on the buildings he had. So basically, there was no Shoaib to even help defend that side.
Yeah, part of it was Shuaib went solo on the mid, and I wrecked him for it.
Shoaib.
Yeah, well, that was I think, remember, the initial strategy was for me to try to go mid, where Logan was basically going to be, and where he actually did have his,
Right.
town center and stuff, right? So
Right.
So it wasn't like I made a huge push there. I basically just went to wall. They were trying to attack the left. I went to take out his TC, which I did.
Okay.
The 4 TC, right? With
Okay.
my bomber cannon guys. And then I had a
Right.
wall there with gates as well, right? Before I did
Okay.
that.
Okay. Yeah, but I guess the point simply is that you didn't have the buildings.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I was very late on the building.
So that thing hurt actually.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
basically, yeah.
It's not like I didn't have the resources to.
Yeah, I know, because you didn't do much fighting. I mean, apart from that one little thing that Salman basically, got an advantage or something or whatever. Like apart from that, there was. I mean, I know you were loaded.
Well,
but...
I had to come in style afterwards, though.
Oh, shit. This guy, man. This guy's talking about style and shit.
All I know, you guys, like when the sergeants were in the back, I could have made that so much worse.
Yeah.
I mean, and then in the middle of it, you're like, hey, man, what the hell takes out the sergeants? Because they were wrecking everything. So sergeants, any type of even the infantry, like I would go swordsman. Cavalry is really good. Gunpowder is good. Things like that. Like they're pretty good because they're a little beefy. So they generally are not too bad. Like they generally are tanky and absorb damage. So their whole point is that they'll absorb damage. Think of like a more mobile, less sturdier version of a Teutonic Knight. Like think of it that way.
I guess when you say cav, you mean like I guess technically hussars could work, or not really because they're tanky.
No, not really. Not as much. I would go cavalier or paladin. They could help. Yeah. Like so that was kind of important. So even Imperial camels would work.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about the camels.
Yes, camels can work. Yeah, Imperial camels have decent armor, but like after that first hit, you kind of had to know that okay, so what's my plan on how I'm going to do that? Like how I'm going to do that, and of course, making sure that you had those Ellies protecting the Munsif's siege was very critical. Was kind of important. And then, of course, I know finally you started, you know, because I think, Shoaib, you built your Ellie's first, and then your camels came later. I think that's the order that happened. So you were kind of getting a little compromised because, hey, who built cav on your side? I know Logan made some, but who was making the cavalry?
Noble, I think, was making some pallies. I remember.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Novo.
Okay. So yeah, because he did pressure. I think the purple pallies, yeah, he did pressure the Ellies, which was kind of good to see. I mean, that was really important. But you know, obviously he was struggling a bit. But again, the push you were making was great push. Like I want to call that out because I think Fassel had a couple of like castles that were taken out. I think you guys kind of like did sort of almost kind of take that left side anyway.
No, we did.
Like,
We basically
yeah.
took it. I was gonna just help him take it back, and then I was gonna settle a little bit.
Mhm.
But you know, and then these guys came back forward, and then once they started doing some shenanigans on the right side where Shoaib did, so it's like,
Mhm.
okay, let me do some shenanigans to see how they respond.
Right. Well, actually, in this time they did call it out, so I actually sent units back because they called it. But I mean, I think they were. I think who called it? Who was it? Fassel called it?
Fassel, I think, called it.
Yeah, because it was never going to be Shoaib, right?
Mhm.
Uh huh. Keeping quiet now. He was too busy microing his little Ellies. Yeah, which is all right, you know, whatever. But Fassel called it out, so that was. I think Fassel last time also called it, and I was like, okay, I'll just take care of this one instance. But generally, I thought, you know, pretty good. So the onagers were kind of important. And yes, having the pallies was key. So I do want to call out that it was good that you guys could control that. I guess like one question I had for you is once you got control of that side, how were you guys gonna move? Like, how were you guys pushing? Logan, like in your mind, how were you pushing? Like, what was your plan on put the push?
Pretty much knock Fassel all the way from the left. Not like
Mhm.
I guess he did build almost that corner. Seeing it now, but then go through that wall that you guys made. And
Well,
then, yeah.
I don't think he had even that. Like the castle and the whatever that you see there, like that wasn't there. So what I'm saying is that I think you kind of almost got to that
Well, I wanted to just
the
shut
edge,
down that
right?
plank. That was
Right,
the
right, right,
edge,
right.
and then we would come back and hopefully would, but it just the edge never got there, and then yeah, it was just.
Did you guys try to scout or at least see? I know that a couple of times you actually Jobo got through because the gate was open. Because if you
I had
kind
some
of
scouts got through. I had a bunch
okay,
of yeah.
okay.
I don't know if
I would have liked for you to hit the pressure the Munsif area harder with the wall. Like that's the area I would have kind of hit that harder. Actually, by the way, you kind of were, but then you moved. So what I'm trying to tell you is, if you hadn't moved, right? Like if you didn't move to the 9 o'clock, which would be your 3 o'clock. So Shoaib wasn't ready. Literally, Shoaib wasn't ready. So you guys would have actually made a significant push. As a matter of fact, I actually thought you were going to do it, and I told Munsif, "Hey, listen, you know these buildings, like that you have in behind the wall? They're done. They're done. Make some new ones because you're not going to have production." But then you guys didn't really attack there, and you kind of like went more on that, like you said, like more on that side, and that deviation actually kind of stalled you, is what I'm saying. So if given everything, if we went back in time, if I would have just taken the forces you had and then just kind of hit that in the front. Especially because maybe you did scout. I don't know like how effective that scouting was, or you were like, oh shit, like they don't even have an army in the rallying in the back. Like there's nothing really there. And actually at the time you were attacking, you would have seen the base of the castles like Shoaib was building. So you would be like, oh guys, attack here. They got nothing. So I mean, it came really close. So minus all the other stuff that, Dobo didn't have this or somebody didn't have that, I'm actually saying you guys had a great opportunity to, hindsight's 2020, but don't get me wrong. But what I'm trying to tell you is a little scouting and a little change in direction, and you basically honestly make a big, like, I would say you would definitely not only break through, but you would put the trade under pressure too.
All right, good night, Munsif. I think he just bailed.
Yeah, he did. But overall, I thought everyone did pretty good, minus some of the stuff. Like once the positioning changes on the map, I think that'll work. Like you guys wouldn't have to worry about the economy. Sharky, you're from your economy side? Were you struggling with anything?
Mostly wood near the end.
Okay, so it was mostly wood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seems
Understood.
okay on the stat sheet.
Okay.
I think Dobo struggled with gold. Soman, did these guys do a trade card call out?
I did for them.
I wonder how many trade cards did he have? Does anyone know?
I'm not sure how to tell, but
Just
he
watch
only
the
had
replay
9,000.
then. Yeah, the fact that he only had 9,000.
Yikes! That probably hurt him a lot. I think when you guys went in, he was still so behind that then the initial time when he queued the trade cards, after that he just never went back to the market again.
Yeah, because
Yeah, I don't think he could have made the pallies.
What's that, someone?
So, because he had that pressure to, okay, I need to go secure left side, and then
Yeah.
Vassal came
Yeah.
in and started wrecking it. So I
Understood.
think that threw him off, to be honest.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. He was kind of like more under pressure than in the previous game for sure, which is understandable. But I would do the switching, and I know for a fact you'll see better results on it, and that means that Saman doesn't have to be too much pressured to do that much. But overall, I thought it was good. The fact that when you did get together, I want you to pay attention to this slogan. The fact that when you were together, you guys did a pretty significant push. And that's huge. Because the economy and some of the other stuff can be addressed with position.
Yeah, what was Saman? Were you the one? No, who said? Yeah, you were saying, yeah, you guys can do it, and I was like, I know we can. We just, we're just it was funny. Like we couldn't. I know we could do it. That's partly why it's kind of frustrating. Is that it's like, what happens? Like, it's a game. Like, it's not something that we're rewriting every day. It's like you guys go through your motions. If you don't have that motion, that's what we need to fix. But it's like everything. All these games start out with like the 3-5 basic things. I mean, it's get your town center, make sure you have pop, make sure you can create villagers, make sure you have food, make sure you wood. I mean, all those things are just inherently like you should know to do them. And then especially, so one thing I did Saman call out is the like where we wanted to build, and he was like, Sharky's already there, I guess, and I guess I should have moved or whatever, but it's no one said anything like don't do that or like, oh, I'm really slow, because Dobo did say he wanted to work eco this game. But then I think we even said you should always be using the town center, like keep creating villagers, and then it was like, oh, that's right, that's what I said. I said what was it? Every time you create a halberdier, you create a villager. And because I think getting that in your head kind of focuses like, oh shit, because he went way too the previous game. It was 40 halberdiers versus the one farm, and then he said there was actually 7 farms, but whatever. The point I'm making is that it's like you can't just like, you're not 6-raxing with only 5 SCVs. You're going off and building a bunch of villagers to make farms and to get wood. Like before you start making your army, yeah, you can have one barracks produce units, but you gotta like take a step back and realize like if these guys die, I have nothing to fall back on, and then I can't even use my barracks. That's the other thing that's funny, is that it's like each building has like a what do you call it, like an upkeep. And if you make like 100 barracks, what's the point of having all 100 if you can't even support one? Like, so it's kind of just, I mean, that's logic, I guess, but so.
Well, the only person that's actually here who can speak to some of this, I'll tell you. Logan, very pay attention. Hey, Sharky, imagine if you had to be the one like to secure this one, like the one whole that whole side. isn't that kind of like a little intimidating?
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Like it throws you off mentally your game, and you're like so worried about like that line that you're trying to cover that a lot of times you kind of forget like even things that you generally you wouldn't forget generally. But the fact that there's so much that you have to cover, and then on top of that, you don't know what the hell may come, that you're so under pressure the whole game. It kind of almost takes the fun out of the game because you're so like under stress. Does that
Yeah,
make
well,
sense?
to counter, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. But to counter that, okay, so I mean, if you guys say no to this, that's fine. But come on now, it failed last weekend. You do your homework, okay? Like this is why we have the stream, so we have a recording of what's kind of going on, whatever. And you also record these games. You watch how you played. You copy what other people have done, and like you tell us all the time. Watch what Saman does. Look at how he builds. I mean, if you guys aren't doing that, that's fine. If you accept that, like we got to move on. But to me, like it's the answer key's right there. Like go for it. It's not like we're basically making this like a gold mine and you have to basically find the gold yourself. No, the gold's right there. Like it's funny I'm using gold. I meant what I'm saying is the answer's right there. Like the Jeopardy answers or the questions are right there. I mean, it's like, geez. So that's basically, yeah, you've messed up, you move on. I mean, that's part of learning. I mean, Fassel knows this or told me, like, one way to learn is to prepare, to actually, like, see what you did wrong and see what actually, how to not do it again. So and you learn the hard way, and that's fine. Like, it happened once. The second time, it's kind of like, well, did you not do your homework? Did you not realize how this game played out? And if you don't want to do that, like I said, let's move on. Like, that's not if that's not on the cards, then it's not on the cards. So we have to figure out something else. But
well, I think some of it is you know, some of it is that I don't know if everybody is like going back and always checking recordings or anything like that. But I'll say this. I'll say that people because of the way they play, there's certain things they're comfortable with, and they can only incrementally learn. And by the way, just like in the game, they have a certain queue of how many things they can do. They're incremental in how much they can even learn, and that incremental queue isn't very big, by the way. So it may be one other thing they can do apart from the other things that they're trying to master. So what I'm saying is that because it's a team game, the idea is to put those persons in a position to be successful. So if there's parts, you know, and by the way, just let me tell you, I mean, you think Sharky's gonna tell you that he's intimidated and he's like, oh no, I don't know if I don't know if I'm gonna do that. He ain't gonna say shit. He'd be like, okay, fine, and he's gonna do what he thinks is best. But a lot of times it may not work. And so what I'm saying is that it's only up to the more experienced players to be like, hey, listen, it is a team game at the end, right? And we want people, we want generally that we're learning, but we want to have some fun too, or at least we want to have a chance. And so the best way to get that chance is just put people in a position to succeed. I don't know if you noticed that when Salman and me were playing with Dobo and Sharky, no matter what, Dobo and Sharky were together always in mid. And if you noticed, Salman and myself were always on the flanks. So, you know, that's an example of like putting two players to communicate and talk with each other, but more importantly, they're right there. Like they can do things right there and they're available. They're mentally also available. And there's a good feeling that the players have that, you know what? My back is covered by folks that are more experienced. So in case anything goes wrong, I know they'll help. In the meantime, they feel more confident being able to secure the mid and go forward. The thing is, like when they're kind of like on this map, like especially if you give him a flank, Sharky, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's almost like you're kind of solo. And if you're solo, like to Sharky's point, he's like, man, it's me by myself in the wilderness. And holy shit, I'm gonna get screwed. So there's this thing that's going on their inside that basically limits their mental capacity even further. So they're not comfortable at all. And you know, you could kind of tell maybe because of the discussion you had, Dobo didn't want to hang around because it's just kind of like shit. He probably wanted to have a good game, where he didn't struggle with the economy. I think maybe in the last game, maybe he had some of the issues. Maybe even in that first game, he was having an economy issue. So he probably wanted to be like, you know what? I really want to just work on my eco this time. So I want to be super productive. It's just that, you know, suddenly he can't be because maybe in the other two games, he didn't have to worry about this whole front business. But now, this was probably the hardest map, by the way, and everything is open. So his whole mindset just got devastated. So what I'm saying is that for now, it may be wise to kind of like have Sharky and Dobo work together and secure things and kind of feel comfortable, while Salman and yourself are kind of working the sides and making sure that you kind of got their back, but you've kind of secured those areas, and then kind of like move the game where you can actually move, count on their support and that sort of thing, especially in a map like this because, obviously it's a bit more open. Um, but hey, I thought that generally tonight, I mean, even in that first game, everyone did pretty good. I mean, people were there. They did the fact that you guys cut through and made that push. That was awesome. That was amazing. In the last game, you guys still did great. I mean, it was great work. So overall, I still think everyone, But remember, Dobo and Sharky were comfortable, so they could actually help you. The thing is, when they're not as comfortable, then it's very difficult for them to help you. And open maps is just a. By the way, just FYI, open maps generally are tougher for players. I mean, it's just tough. It's not easy. So I mean, by the way, don't get me wrong. Even on our side, we were super conservative, and I was pushing, pushing, pushing for people to kind of go up, go up, go up. Like you cannot be just like sitting in the back line. You got to move. And part of it is to like get people out of their comfort zone a bit and saying, okay, move, move, move. You gotta move. You gotta do something. Now I understand there's a bandwidth, mental bandwidth. I'm not saying that you have to do that all the time, but you are working with Salman, so you can say, hey, Salman, like, can you help me out with these guys and just kind of look at what they're doing. The whole idea is that Salman's there to help you, and as well as the team in anything he sees. And there's no pressure on Salman really necessarily on our side. So he's given the mental bandwidth to kind of help you out, help you guys out, and also advise you guys. So you just have to ask though, right? Like those things are kind of important. So the more you can lean on his advice, so he can help them, because I know Salman has done that. He'll say, "Hey, Sharky, like you don't have enough farms," or "Hey, Dobo, you don't have guys enough on villagers," or "Hey, you don't have enough trade carts." Like he's astute enough where he'll call some of that stuff out, so that you don't have to necessarily really always worry about that. You just worry about like strategically certain areas you're covering, and then basically laying out the foundation, like, all right, guys, let's rally and let's go. Like, that sort of thing is all kind of like mostly under you, because you can't really do all of it. But so it's really about how you want to position even yourself to have some mental peace of mind, so that you're not like all over the place, like you said. But I think generally, by looking at opportunities on how the back and forth, the ebb and flow of the game goes, you're getting more experience about how units are put together and how pushes are made. And it's not really necessarily just about the push to end, but it's really about I've got this great push. How long can I sustain it? And what was it that destroyed it? Like what caused the destruction of my push? Like what was wrong with that? And maybe concentrate on next time. I'll make sure that my push doesn't get stopped because maybe this other thing happened, or I didn't scout, or like whatever, like this other stuff that occurred, right? But other than that, though, communicating, having people work together, getting the right kind of focus with the army layering, protecting the siege. You were sieged this time, protecting it, like those types of things. And remember the trap that you can't always get into. Do not end up building all types of units. Build the stuff that is core to your army, that's core for your survival. I mean, if you can keep your onagers alive with pikes and that front line, you're still in a better position. Like in that game, if you just had onagers and you had that front line with your infantry to just kind of like protect your siege, you're still in a good position. because the elephants can't really. I mean, they just can't. They're not going to move forward. Like they're hard stuck because you have onagers and other and halbs and all that shit. So just and by the way, the other good news is you also build defensive structures. You build towers. That was great. You know, it bought you time. So literally, you buy yourself time, and Salman has said that too. You buy your team time. You know what I mean? So I think just kind of keep some of these ideas, and definitely Salman's available. So ask him because literally, there's not a whole lot he's doing other than he's Mr. Knowledge Base who's trying to help you with knowledge. You know, or you can say, hey, listen, Salman, you think that this is good? This is a good army we can push with. And a lot of times, like Salman thought you were doing great, by the way, which I thought you were doing great, which is why he doesn't even need to help you because he's like, guys, you're doing great. Push, keep pushing, because he hasn't even seen anything that would suggest otherwise. So, you know, kind of keep an overall positive mindset. I think from our side, you know, even though Munsif couldn't really talk, but you know, Faisal was doing a lot of talking. I think Shuaib then finally, you know, kicked in with the stuff that he was building, and Munsif overall did pretty good actually. He did struggle. He did really struggle with the death ball that was kind of like being made. Faisal struggled too, and it was just a matter of rallying. You know, I want our team to understand. Shoaib just didn't even. Yes, people were asking for help, but he couldn't immediately go. He had to rally. He had to get enough units before he could actually even go outside. And I had to help him a little bit, just even going outside. And that was just to just kind of even not even stop, but just stall a little bit the flow that you guys had. And that bought everybody a little bit of time, right? Like other than that, it wasn't really, you know, it wasn't like the end of the world. Everything else was fine. The horse archers were okay. No real issue. By the way, were there a lot of kip checks?
No.
I think I just bought the free ones.
Well, I know, Sharky. I'm asking Logan. So Logan, so you went Cumans with the idea of what? You were gonna go siege and that's it?
Yeah, eventually get them, but I just never could.
That's
Okay.
why
Like
he built
huh?
the cav archers instead.
Yeah, I know he built the cav archers. Um I mean if you were gonna go archers, I would have loved to see the Kipcheks there instead of the cav archers. Um but you more importantly needed to support that with pikes. The pikes with the onagers and the Kipcheks. Like those are that's the 3 unit combo you needed. And regardless of all the shit that was going down, the fact that you had defensive structures, you just, you're like, all right, I'm gonna go back to my defense. By the way, good job. Like, who was building the trebs? Good job on that. Who
Sharky.
was doing the trebs?
Sharky.
That was me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, that was good. I would have loved that you before you deploy your trebs that you have like defense around them, like pikes and other things. But other than that, I mean, like that's what it was. So literally, you can do a good defensive holdout till people kind of are situated and people can help. But like that's the kind of help that was very useful. So
Plus, it was a Japanese trap, so there's
oh
Yeah.
that.
shit, yeah, 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 yeah. The packing
Especially
and packing was
especially on
pretty.
this kind of map, yeah.
Yep, that was pretty solid. But he did really good job with that stuff
No,
anyway.
yeah, I was watching the replay. I mean,
Oh, were you?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So, I mean, obviously, Dobo, like kind of what Logan was saying. I mean, I think he didn't like even show up. By the time he showed up, Munsif and Faisal were like pretty well established there, right? And then he also wasted a shitload of food just producing a shitload of just scout calf because he doesn't even have a SARS, right? He just has scout calf. So for some reason,
Right.
produced a lot of those guys, and they just got eaten up by the halves that Munsif had there too. But yeah, basically, yeah. So that was like free real estate, right, for a long time. And then he just wasn't able to really do much there. And then eventually, when Sharky showed up with the Trebs, of course, and Logan kind of helped a bit. That's when they got the progress, right?
Right, 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 right. Well, that's easy. That's easy to deal with though. Like that's not like that's not really the issue. Imagine
I
if
want,
they switched.
I mean, one thing which is not the biggest thing, but one thing is that I guess Dobo also had like 0 lumber camps, so he had villagers walking from the forest to the TC, which is not not right next to the
Oh,
forest, right? So I mean, it's a small thing, but
well, hey
oh,
man, he discombobulated.
yeah, yeah.
It's not like
I
he
mean,
doesn't
yeah,
know.
like eventually he tried, pumping out like some pallies and Teutonic Knights, but it was like small bursts only.
Well, you don't need the Teutonic Knights there, but
Yeah,
you
yeah.
you know Dobo is at his wit's end when he starts pumping
Correct,
Teutonic
correct.
Knights. Like
Yeah.
that's
But
not
yeah,
a good
basically, yeah,
call.
I think like Saman was saying, especially, that whole area. I mean, even from our side, if you think about it, we had 2 people, covering that area, right? So one person is pretty tough, especially given how big it is.
Right, right. No, but hey, lesson learned. I mean,
Mm.
like they'll know what to do. But I don't know. I thought the overall question I have, apart minus shenanigans and this and that, how have you guys, looking at the different unit combinations, have you guys gotten a better feel of like the layering and the pushing?
Yeah.
There's somewhat. I know, like, I think today at least 2 people kind of complained about how my position layering was compared to like the siege or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like I got mixed messages like first off, and
Oh,
then and then like I think the next team up, I think it was a little better. Still like still kind of an issue of like where my position is in the layer.
oh, you mean like from the skirmisher context from the previous game I guess like can you tell me which specifically? Skirmishers for sure. Being a pally guy, I would say no, that wasn't that
Yeah,
was the issue.
not skirmishers. It was mostly I think where my pikes are in relation to like onagers.
Ah, okay, 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 got it, got
Because
it, got it.
I think one time they complained was like, "Hey, onagers are blocking in front of me," and
Uh-huh.
then later when they're retreating, pikes are blocking behind them too.
Yeah, so just so you know, if you're the chosen one, I guess, for the lack of a better word, if you're the chosen one as in for defense of the onagers, you're kind of like at the mercy of two things. A, the mercy of the battle in front of you. So you have to be like kind of engaged there, which means that you're probably microing the whatever unit that's protecting it, in this case more than likely the halbs, with the onagers. So you're kind of moving together with them. And when you know that the onager needs to go because maybe you have an advantage or maybe there's a good pancake, which by the way everybody can see, like nice pancakes available, that's when you kind of like move your pikes, micro them a little bit around so that the siege can get through by you. And when the siege starts moving, you move your halbs around or with it, but you just need to be able to recognize that you don't send all your pikes because maybe he's suiciding like an onager or two just to get that pancake in, and he's all right. Where the siege guy is going to complain, Sharky, with you would be like this: when like 20 paladins are coming his way, and he's not looking for a pancake. That's when he needs you to be like block, 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 because siege does. He doesn't want his siege to run, and he needs you to block that shit. So you just be Mr. Block It. Cover the siege and block it. Like that's when he wants you to be the block. But when you're moving and attacking, that's when he does not want you to be the block. Like that's when you have to move. So the thing is, if you're doing other things and you got units there, because in your mind you're thinking, well, I got units there protecting, but then the way of the battle, things are moving or things are progressing, the guy who's there, siege guy, he can't really move, and then he's complaining. So hopefully I added a little bit more context for you, Sharky, so that when you're on that duty, like you're kind of like more in line with moving with the siege player. So chances are more than likely that the siege player and you will be talking very rigorously, especially because more than likely the siege player is dictating the battle. It's not you. Whenever you're infantry, you're not dictating that battle. The siege player will tell you, let's go. You know what I mean? Like take that as your cue. Otherwise, you're just kind of like hanging around. So because any charge can come your way. So just maybe that's useful. Maybe that suggestion or observation is helpful for you. So that next time you're kind of like more in communication with the siege player if you happen to be on the defense of the onagers and stuff like that. Which generally I thought like people were kind of doing okay. I mean, you guys had, I think the game where it was you and the Goth player Adobo. I mean, you guys did a really nice job in mid when you guys were making that push. Again, I like the push. It's not like
I think
something
that
you
was
guys
the
weren't able to do.
strongest performance from Dobo and Sharky. Was game 2. I
Very,
thought.
very nice pushes there, by the way. So I want to give you an example of the things you did good. I'm also giving you an example of the contradictory things because you kind of have to be present in the battle when you're working with the siege player. The only time where it's not as crazy, Sharky, is if you're like that Cav player, who's doing these charges. You just do charges when it's opportune time to make the charge. That's where, because you're not really on defense duty. So it's really about making pallies and having the right time, choosing the right time to go and attack. That sort of thing. Other than that, like then it becomes a much more chore communicating and moving your infantry, and it's a little bit more involved from that perspective. Let me tell you, infantry, it's not easy in this game. If you lose that infantry, suddenly the whole back line gets decimated. So I mean, infantry folks have a pretty like solid, like tough job actually, in the game. But hopefully that helps the contradiction thing that you were thinking about.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. This was good games.
Yeah.
Get you all on the flip
Yeah,
side.
for sure.
All
All
right.
right,
Yeah.
guys.
All right.
Next week.
All right, take care. Next week.
Have a good
Good
night.
night. Good
Yeah,
games.
night. Good names.